essays. Owing to his father's straitening circumstances, he was removed from school at about the age of 12, and thereafter for some years, except for the circumstance of his marriage, he is lost to history, but not to legend. He probably helped his father for a time, learnt the craft of dressing skins, did odd jobs, ran errands. In his spare time he must have explored the countryside, his observant eye and sensitive mind noting and memorizing those intimate small things in nature which are visible to the poet's perception, and those large effects of nature which in the poet's imagination are related to the human emotions. At the age of 18, he married Anne Hathaway. Few actions in history have been the subject of so much or such wild conjecture. Because she was 8 years older than himself, and because they cohabited before marriage, passages in the plays illustrating the drawbacks of a senior wife and prenuptial intercourse have been quoted to support the theory that their marriage was a failure. Just as many sentiments could be culled from the plays to prove that Shakespeare's marriage was entirely successful. All we know for certain is that on November the 27th, 1582, Shakespeare went to Worcester, where he obtained from the Episcopal Registry a license to marry, with once asking of the banns. It is more than likely, no other locality having been traced, that the marriage took place at St. Martin's Church in the Cornmarket, Worcester, because 2 leaves of the register there, covering the date of the ceremony, have been removed by some pious or impious collector. Anne Shakespeare had a daughter, Susanna, the following May. In those days young couples in every class of society frequently cohabited between betrothal, which then legitimized the offspring, and marriage, which made good their claim to dowry. So there was nothing in the behaviour of the Shakespeares to excite indignant comment, though a few winks may have been exchanged between William's friends and a few whispers between Anne's. These would scarcely have disturbed Anne, who was of a religious and charitable disposition. She had 2 more children by William, twins, a son Hamnet and a daughter Judith, born in January 1585. Shakespeare cannot have shared the religious convictions of his wife. As an artist, the pageantry and historical significance of the Roman Church would have appealed to him. As a man, he was an individualist, with an intensely personal view of the universe and its mystery, and in that sense, a Protestant. After his marriage, Shakespeare had to adopt a profession and earn a living. The evidence to be found in his early plays, his father's career, an inclination common to many writers of genius, all these point to the fact that he took to law. The legal terms which recur again and again in his work, very often to the detriment of the poetry and to the impairment of character, suggest that the court phraseology and procedure he picked up from his father were reinforced by experience in an attorney's office. Again, however, we note the revealing fact that these terms are more frequent in his first plays than in his last, which shows that his interest in law, like his interest in Latin, diminished as his horizon widened. But something that appealed to him far more intimately than law was engaging his attention and arousing his emotion all through these years of adolescence. Troops of players, each under the patronage of some noble or the Queen, toured the provinces regularly. From 1573 to 1587, Shakespeare had the chance of seeing 23 visiting companies at Stratford. Their arrival was a public event in the place. They made a sort of triumphal procession through the streets, their horses richly caparisoned, themselves decked out in silks. They paraded the town to the sound of trumpets, advertising by their appearance the performances they were about to give in the Bridge Street inn yards, following an official welcome and a preparatory exhibition at the Guildhall. In 1587, 5 companies, an unprecedented number, played at Stratford, including the Queen's, the Earl of Essex's, and the Earl of Leicester's, these containing all the best actors of the day. Whether Shakespeare joined one of them locally in an inferior position, or left Stratford to try his luck with one of them in London, is not known, but that their performances excited him to emulation and suggested the medium for his dormant poetical genius, and that he was tired of uncongenial drudgery and longed to see the great world of men and affairs, there can be no doubt. Those early contacts with the cardboard and tinsel substitutes for royalty and nobility, a stage on which a man might feel and express power so much less harmfully and more satisfactorily.